Beloved by God, this May 28, 2025, we are gathered around the text of the Gospel of John chapter 16 verse 1 to 11. Take the time to read. The text came back to us to share together what the Lord has put on our hearts. The title we give to this text is The Last Exhortations of Jesus to His Disciples. A distinction is made between the teaching of Jesus at the beginning of his ministry and then at the end of this ministry. Now that his departure is imminent, Jesus gives his disciples clearer indications of what will happen after him. Our first point, which we are going to share with you. Jesus prepares his disciples for the persecution to come. What we can read in verse 1 to 6. Jesus warns his disciples so that he will not stumble when persecution comes after his death. In fact, he makes them understand indirectly that the major obstacle to testifying his name would be the opposition of the Jews, and particularly the religious leaders. He also warns them that they will even be excluded from the synagogue. It is undeniable that any Jew who has devotion, understand and fear excommunication, because it meant the break with a respected heritage that was dear to him. Once empowered by the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, the disciples understood that their best inheritance was found in union with the resurrected Jesus Christ. He is happy to understand that the reason for the persecution had its source in the worship to be given to God, according to the law of Moses and the precepts which were added. This is the same reason which is only a deception, because the religious leaders find in Jesus, it is he who comes to depose their position and their powers, and this motive is a deception. It served as a pretext for many persecutions. Pie sales on tap, a typical example what we can read in the Act of the Apostles chapter 9 verse 1 to 2, and in his exhortation to the disciple. I understand the fundamental reason for this misunderstanding in the fact that the persecutors never really God was what he said was spiritual, with the exception of course of Paul becoming Paul, as they can testify in the Acts of the Apostles and Paul's own epistles. Second hand, the mind will convince the world. This is what we can read in verses 7 to 11. Jesus has already spoken of the coming of a comforter in John chapter 14. The avenue of the Comforter, that is to say of the Holy Spirit, will convince the world of sin, of justice and judgment. Convince is a legal term. This is how we